What's up, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing and doing my first impressions of the Pixel 8 Pro. We also have the Pixel Watch 2, which we will make a separate video about. But yeah, so let's go ahead and jump in here. I want to thank Google for sending this out for us to check out. So let's go ahead and get started. Really excited. You guys know I'm a huge fan of the Pixel 7 Pro. I use it to film all my shorts and I really like it. So this is the Porcelain, and it looks like has a matte finish, and yeah, it's not white by any means. Like, it's a huge color difference. It's kind of like a gray-ish kind of, yeah, it looks kind of gray. So we got a completely flat display as well too this year, so I know a lot of people were excited about that. But you do have a slightly different sort of camera setup. It's just all kind of clustered into one instead of, you know, that cutout that we had. But pretty much looks the same. I hope Google sticks with this design language because it's just really unique looking, honestly. So this year it is going to be $999, so it's going to be $1,000 to get the Pixel 8 Pro. And let's go ahead and boot this up. And yeah, it's got a super bright display, so I'm really excited to test this out. It's 24 nits peak brightness, so we're going to take it outdoors and test it out. But essentially not too much has changed, just a flat display and a slight improvement with the camera design. But this looks like a matte finish as well too, so that's really nice as well. And of course IP68 dust and water resistant, you know, glass and metal. In the box we got our converter, type C to type C cable, and a manual. And let's go ahead and boot this guy up. So I'm really excited to check out this Tensor G3 chip, mostly because, you know, I did have some overheating problems with the Pixel 7 Pro, only if I was outdoors, like filming in the sunlight, but I would never have that problem with iPhone or Samsung. Alright, so let's talk about the screen upgrades real quick here. So again, completely flat panel. From the curved panel on the 7 Pro, which a lot of people like. It's easier to put screen protectors on here and stuff like that. It has the LTPO OLED display. It's 120Hz HDR10 plus, and it gets up to 2400 nits peak brightness. So it's a very bright display outdoors in direct sunlight. I think one of the brightest displays, I think Apple probably has a phone that's 2500 nits, but this is super bright. Also, what I thought was pretty strange is that the resolution dropped a little bit, and also the PPI. So it's a 1344 by 2992, which is lower than the 7 Pro, and it has a 489 PPI ratio on here. And yeah, I thought that was kind of strange. Now, as far as the screen quality, it doesn't really look that different at all, but I did think that was a little weird. But overall, the screen quality is really nice actually this year. So we typically don't see Google sort of like maxing out with specs and stuff like that, but having this crazy bright display is pretty nice. So I think a lot of people will like the screen upgrade here. So let's talk about these specs a little bit more here. So we have the new Google Tensor G3 chipset on here. No SD card support, 128 gigs of internal storage, and 12 gigs of RAM. We have UFS 3.1 for the storage, and you can see the single core and the multi-core scores that the G3 is giving us. So you can see slightly below the S23 Ultra, and it is below in the single core, multi-core. So basically these Pixel phones have never really been trying to, like, you know, go crazy with benchmark scores and stuff like that. It's always been about the software experience. And I personally think that Google has one of like the smoothest like animations and smoothest feeling phones. It just really smooth with these Pixel phones, something that I've always really enjoyed. And what is kind of not being talked about with these Pixel phones is that this phone actually gets 7 years of major OS updates, I believe, and that is extremely good. I think the best that Android can do is actually 4 years, and that's from Samsung, and then you get security patches. They are actually promising 7 whole years of major OS updates, which is absolutely insane. So it's very impressive. So I'm really excited for that. And like I said, with Pixel phones, you get the latest software when it comes out. You're first to get the beta software as well too. So I think it's something that, you know, a lot of people will appreciate. So you can keep this phone for you know, a pretty long time. Now I definitely want to spend some more time with the Tensor chip when it comes to gaming and stuff like that. But so far you can expect to be able to game on this phone just fine. One of the issues that I had with the Pixel 7 Pro, I didn't really have overheating problems like that unless I was recording outdoors and it was like hot outside. Is the only time I had overheating problems. You would get a pop-up and you would get a decrease in video quality, and I film all my shorts with the Pixel 7 Pro, so I'm curious to see if the heating problems have gone away. So far the phone has not got warm when playing games or really just like setting up and stuff like that. I haven't noticed any heating problems so far, but like I said, we spend some more time with it and see if the performance has gotten any better when it comes to it just being hot in this phone overheating, because that's not a problem I have with the S23 or the iPhone. But yeah, as far as gaming, you can expect if you're a casual gamer, it plays games great. You can play PUBG here at HDR Extreme, and I'm sure they'll update it to bring the 90 frames as well too. So when it comes to gaming performance, it's a $1,000 flagship. It'll pretty much play anything you want, right? Let's go ahead and check out these speakers, max volume. The speakers are super loud. Pixel always has pretty good speakers, so these are no different. They have really good bass quality, really good, nice full sound. Even if you cover the bottom speaker, you still get a ton of bass and just still really loud with the top speaker. This year, you don't have the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. It just has the optical one, which is still, it works fine. There's no issue, and you also can do face unlock as well too on here. And then you also have a temperature sensor, which is kind of strange and random, but it does have one where you can measure temperature of yourself or objects and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Now you guys know I'm a huge fan of Pixel still photography, and I think it takes some of the best stills of any smartphone. As far as video, I think they've been working on it. I did see like a slight video improvement, especially with focusing, but the cameras on here have been slightly improved, but I don't think it's dramatically improved. It has a 50 megapixel standard on here, a 48 megapixel telephoto with 5 times optical, but now you have a 48 megapixel ultra wide on here, so it takes some really nicely detailed ultra wide shots. And you have 4K 60 video, and then you have a 10.5 megapixel ultra wide selfie cam that shoots in 4K 60, which takes excellent photos. You guys know I absolutely love Pixel photos, how they do the image processing, skin tones. It just takes some really great shots, great dynamic range, great color. I'm a big fan of the Pixel software. As far as video, it's something that I want to test out a little bit more, because with the Pixel 7 Pro, I kind of have sometimes like focusing problems only if I'm close up with subjects. But it's something I have to like look into a little bit more. But the photo quality is going to be really great, as you would expect. And as far as the camera features, I just wanted to point out this does have a macro mode now, so you guys can see you can get really close up to shots now, and you can get close up to text and stuff and take photos, which is really nice as well. But everything else, like I said, it doesn't look or feel too much different from the Pixel 7 Pro. Battery life is something that we have to test out a little bit more, but this phone does have a 5050 milliamp hour battery. It has 30-watt charging and 23-watt wireless charging, and it also has reverse wireless charging as well too. So hopefully with this Tensor chip, we get better battery life than the Pixel 7 Pro. The Pixel 7 Pro's battery life was okay, but hopefully we get better standby time with the 8 Pro and just overall better screen on time. So we'll definitely have to see about that. But that is pretty much it for my first impressions. Overall, yeah, I have really high hopes for this chip and battery life. That's two things I want to really see. Performance and battery life, I think, are the biggest things, the biggest upgrades here. And the temperature sensor is kind of a strange feature to add, but that's there. And yeah, so what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.